Shalom, I'm IZZY and welcome to Holy Language Institute. This is our first quarterly report looking back on the last 3 months, roughly speaking, the fall season, looking ahead to the next 3 months, the winter season. I'm really excited to do this report and just show you what we've been up to, what we have coming up. We are busy on a lot of different fronts. We have so many different people involved, so many stories, and I really want you to feel a part of it. So that's the heart behind these reports. So if you're not familiar with Holy Language Institute, our focus is on Yeshua, our Jewish Messiah, answering his call to know him, to follow him, to become more like him, to make disciples. And specifically, our focus is on helping our students to come closer to Yeshua through biblical Hebrew. That's the language, of course, of the Bible that he read and that his early disciples read. And it's also the foundational text upon which the New Testament is built, so to speak. So studies in biblical Hebrew and other related subjects, as you'll see here. We have a focus on the Word and also on worship. And we also have a prophetic edge to our ministry. We are preparing the bride for the return of her Jewish bridegroom, the King of the Jews. So basically, we'll be doing these reports every 3 months, like I said. This is the beginning of December, so this is looking back on the fall, and then looking ahead to the winter. So we'll call this one of those, and then in the spring, that'll be like the beginning of March, the beginning of summer, in early June, and then the beginning of fall in early September. And I'm going to give a shout out to a lot of our supporters, donors, volunteers, people who have contributed reviews, etc. Going to be showing you some of those. So if you are connected with Holy Language Institute, there's a good chance that I'm going to mention you in this report. So listen into that. Basically, this report is going to have 3 parts. In the first part, we're going to look back at the last 3 months and look ahead to the next 3. In the second part, we're going to go over analytics and financials, and I'm really going to show you who we're reaching, how we're reaching them, how much money is coming in, all of those questions that you might want to know. We want to be the most transparent ministry possible. And then thirdly, I'm going to do a Q&A, questions and answers. And so if you have questions, if you have thoughts and feedback as I go through this report, I would like you to share those in the comments. Usually we keep the comments on our videos on YouTube closed, but we're going to leave the comments open here. I am going to give you a warning, though, that I have a very low level of tolerance for ugliness and willful stupidity. So if you want to leave a comment, keep it positive, keep it respectful, or you're going to get blocked. And I would hate for that to happen to you. So just going to give you that warning. The YouTube comments is a privilege, not a right. All right. So what have we been up to for the last 3 months? For the first 3 months of September, I was working on this project, a project that I'd been working on since May, actually. This isn't maybe exactly what the book is going to look like in its final form, but this is roughly what it's going to look like. And basically, this is a book listing all the commandments in the New Testament. And I number those at 713. If you've ever heard someone say, wow, 613 commandments in the law, so many commandments, what a burden for the Jews, stuff like that. Well, my friend, you may be surprised to learn there are actually more commandments in the New Testament, and they are tougher. So thank God for justification by faith, and that he empowers us by his Holy Spirit and by his grace to not only to love him, but to keep his commandments. So anyways, we've made significant headway on this. We have them listed. We already went through the New Testament in a couple different versions. We're going to have supporting verses for every commandment, every place where the commandment is given, or passages that illustrate or explain those commandments. So that's coming along well. Now, on the side, I had a little project, kind of more of a recreational project I did in my free time. Sometimes I would call that my Shabbat project. So that was something that wasn't so work-focused, so production-oriented. It was more just something that I did as something that I was passionate about. And so basically, I'll give you a quick heads up on what that was and why this project is on hold right now. So as you know, we released history's first Christian Zionist hymnal. I would definitely call it a messianic hymnal, broadly speaking, maybe messianic Christian. Definitely for Jewish believers also. It has everybody's favorite hymns, and then hundreds of old hymns you've never heard before, no doubt. I went back over 16,000 of the old hymns, and I found so many amazing hymns about themes that are near and dear to the messianic heart. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's just ourhymnal.com, comes with the melodies, so you can learn and sing these, in your own private times of worship or with your family and fellowship. And basically, once we published this and released it along with all the videos, then I got started on this. And I'd been working on this, like I said, on the side, kind of as my Shabbat project, just assembling the text. We're actually going to include 3 different texts in this. And you might be wondering, hey, wait a minute, Izzy, what is a psalter anyways? I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that before. If that's you, you are not alone, my friend. So basically, a psalter is a book of psalms made for singing. So it's the Psalms, but translated into meter, the way poetry has it, with that kind of beat to it, and also it's rhyming so that it can be sung. And so this is a sample page from this psalter that I've been working on full time since late September for the last couple of months. So basically, once I had all the texts ready and I had collected all the melodies, over 800 melodies, it's a lot, but so many beautiful melodies to so many psalms, and like I said, several versions of the psalms also. This will include a literal translation of the psalms, but into rhyming meter, as you can see here. It's going to include a more of a thought-for-thought translation, and then more of a paraphrase. And these were done in the last 500 years. There was a time for a couple centuries there after the Reformation where the church only sang the Psalms. Hymns really didn't become popular until the first half of the 1700s, and then Psalms fell by the wayside. I think that's tragic because the Bible says sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, and it says that twice. And most of us today, in the broader Christian community, we only sing spiritual songs. We sing choruses, contemporary worship, and maybe we sing the occasional hymn, but really nobody sings the Psalms. And so this is going to fill that gap, and it's going to enable all of us to sing the Psalms again. And I think it's going to be very powerful in enriching your private worship times. And then also, like I said, I think it's basically like a complete package if you're wanting to start doing family worship. Sing the Psalms. It's the Bible. You can sing them and memorize them, and it's so rich. So anyways, that's what I've been working on for the last couple months. There is a lot of work to be done with this, and I'll actually show you some author copies in just a second. So some of the things I've been doing is working on the actual text, getting the books published. This is the website, ourpsalter.com. And you can see there the back page of the Psalter also. It's really beautiful. I just love it. One way that I explain what a Psalter is, it's a psalm book. So it's like a hymn book, but a psalm book of the Psalms made for singing. And I'll show you a couple of sample pages here. So these sample pages are from the website, along with the actual text of the Psalms made to be sung. We also have some really rich introductory chapters. So this one is about the relationship of, let's say, Yeshua himself or ancient Israel to the Psalms, and then the disciples. We talk about the early church in Psalms, and also give some history of psalm singing in the body of Messiah in the last 500 years. Really inspiring stuff. Really, the Psalter was at the heart of revivals over and over again. And we are going to be releasing a course also on the history of psalm singing and hymn singing in the church and synagogue, the English-speaking church and synagogue, we should say, in the last 500 years. And we'll probably just be calling that course Revival Songs. So if you don't get emails or texts from us, be sure to get those so that you'll get these courses as they come out. This is a little chapter I'm really excited about. It lists the psalms that were sung in the late Second Temple era. So in the time of Yeshua and his disciples, which psalms did they sing? If you've watched The Chosen, there's so many wonderful episodes depicting Jesus and his disciples quoting the psalms, singing them. Two of the disciples, I think Mary and Rhema, if I'm not mistaken, she's learning to read from the book of Psalms, and so maybe that raises questions. Which psalms did Yeshua and his disciples actually sing, and when did they sing them? Were there specific feasts? It says they sang a hymn after the Passover Seder. What was that hymn? Was that a psalm? And indeed, it was probably a set of psalms. So we get into all of that in this handy little chapter in the Psalter. As I mentioned, I've also been assembling melodies, over 800 melodies, because, some of these psalms are really long, so we break them up into little singable portions, so to speak, with different melodies, because, there are different moods to the psalms. Even in one song, David had his highs and he had his lows, and so we have melodies that really reflect the mood of each section of the psalms. It took a tremendous amount of work on my part, and already it's just been such a rich experience. I can't wait to share it with you, and so that's another thing that I've been working on. So the ebook version is actually already available on Amazon Kindle. You can read some of the description right there, and also as in EPUB format. And so that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. It's the main thing that I've been dedicating my time to as director of Holy Language Institute. As you probably know, we don't just release video courses. We also have a publishing house. So this will be released through our publishing house. I do have some other things that have happened in the last couple of months. Give you a quick overview. So you're probably watching this on YouTube, and if so, you may have noticed that you can actually become a member through YouTube. This isn't our main platform. Our main platform is holylanguage.tv, and when someone becomes a full member through that, then they get access to our the tribe, our online student groups, to like tons of resources that I've collected over the years, etc. But at the same time, some people just want to watch the videos, and it's inconvenient to like get on another website. And so for those people, we have introduced YouTube membership. And as you can see here, basically there are 3 levels of membership. All 3 levels give you the same access to all the videos. We believe in equality. We don't believe in giving people who have more money, greater access and special perks and privileges. We try to make everything available and affordable for everyone. That's one of the things that makes Holy Language Institute different. But having said that, maybe you have more, and maybe you really love and believe in what we're doing, and you want to give more. And so if you want to do that, then we do have 3 different levels of membership: gold, silver, and bronze, as you can see there. And we already have a handful of members, and I'll be showing you more about that in just a moment. We also reintroduced stories. So over the years, we've had literally hundreds of students send in their stories, and we've shared those by email, put them on our website, etc. However, a couple of years ago, we migrated websites, and we lost that. And we also lost our previous email service, and so we lost all those stories. I spent, I think it was about a full week just going back and retrieving all those stories and putting them on the new website. And so as you can see, we have stories going all the way back to 2012, hundreds of stories. Man, it was incredible just going back over these stories, honestly, and reading them. And here's a recent one that was sent in. And like I said, so many of these are just incredible supernatural stories, not just about people coming to faith in the Messiah, but people being drawn to learn the Hebrew language, brought back to their Jewish roots. Themes like that. So if that's near and dear to your heart, definitely check out the stories at holylanguage.com. You could even send those to people, maybe people who are having questions about God or about the path that you're on. If you feel like you're being called back to the ancient paths, send these stories to them. They're very powerful. We overcome through the word of our testimony, because nobody can argue with your story. If you experience something, that is real. And these are hundreds of experiences, probably similar to maybe even what you have had yourself. We also have a Your Story page, and you can see in the top corner here how to get to these pages. So basically, just go to the menu, and then I just set aside one part just called stories, because I really want these to get a lot of attention. Holy Language Institute, we're not just an online school. We are a real community of disciples all around the world following Yeshua together in a Hebrew way, if I could put it that way. Not that we're all Jewish, but Hebrew is a beautiful way to come closer to the Messiah, the language of the Bible. Okay, so anyways, having said that, if you look in the top right corner, then you can see here where you can send in your story. And there are a couple different ways to do that. I would love to hear from you. If you've learned from Holy Language, if you're learning with us, send in your story. If you have a testimony about how Yeshua saved you, anything like that, I want to hear it. We want to hear it. I would love to feature your story in our next quarterly report, put it on the website, send it out to our 130,000 plus followers across email and social media, because I love the stories of our community, and I really want our platform to be a platform for testimonies that make Messiah look good, that truly glorify the God of Israel. So that's something new that's happened in the last 3 months. Additionally, you may see in the top here that I already mentioned the menu. So that's new. We had a menu on the side that more highlighted our video courses, but some people found it they were missing stuff. And so putting the menu up here makes it easier for you to find everything that you may be looking for. And having said that, as I mentioned, we offer a lot: video courses, resources, books, experiences of community. I direct a family of ministries, not just Holy Language Institute. Like, how much of that do you even know about? I found even many of our paying members don't know about all the things that we offer. They don't know what they're missing. And so we put an overview section on the homepage at holylanguage.com to make sure that you don't miss anything. And so this is an example of that. You can see here that basically it's an overview. And it goes over the courses that we offer and subdivides them: Hebrew, Bible, history, the books that we offer, and not only our bestsellers and our written Bible reviews, but different genres that we offer. Over 50 titles through our publishing house. Ways that you can connect with Holy Language Institute and with each other. And then things that you can do, for instance, if you want to contact us, or if you want to get our website as an app on your phone, lots of things. And then also under Visit, we have the related ministries that I direct, and along with my professional website where I share my testimony and the backstories to our organizations, courses, and resources. So definitely check out holylanguage.com. The link is in the video description, and just take some time to look over that overview and see what you've been missing about, what you didn't know about. There's a lot there, and there's something there for everyone for sure. So back in the end of July, I flew out to Charlotte, North Carolina, and did a couple of film shoots with Sid Roth. He's a Jewish believer in Yeshua, an evangelist. And it was really beautiful just getting to talk about, share my own story, talk about our Jewish Messiah, Yeshua. And so anyways, that just went live in the last month or two. And so I don't know, if you want, you look it up on the website. So on the right-hand side here, it mentions the biblical reboot. And so that's an audio that I recorded. And this is roughly what it's talking about. I was kind of surprised at this, but some people give me a hard time for being on Sid Roth's show, and maybe I don't know enough about him. I know that he's not really my style, a little bit sensational, but he's Jewish, and he talks a lot about Yeshua, our Jewish Messiah, to Jews and Gentiles. He's very strongly supportive of Israel, so I don't really know. Some people kind of just more teased me, razzed me a little bit, which I love. I'll take that. I would even say that that's my love language, teasing. But then we actually had some people that reacted and like literally stopped getting emails. So I don't know what the deal was there. What I will say is this: in the past I've turned down a lot of requests to make an appearance on shows, to be on podcasts, all the way up to Benny Hinn. He reached out to me, and we'd personally talked on the phone, and he wanted me on a show, and I said, sorry, that's just not what I'm called to do. But when Sid Roth people reached out to me, I really felt a green light in my spirit. This is something I want you to do. And so that's why I did it. And I will go anywhere, and I will talk with anyone about the Messiah, our Jewish Messiah. Even if it's if a group of Satanists reach out to me and ask me to join them on their podcast and talk about Yeshua, I will do it if God sends me. So if you had any questions about that, that's the backstory to that. So after they released the full videos, they released some shorts, reels, I guess they're called, on Facebook from our conversation. And this is one that I would say, somewhat viral. Basically, I'm just talking about how Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever, which means he's coming back the same way as he left. It says that explicitly in Acts chapter 1, which means we have a bearded, Hebrew-speaking Jewish rabbi who is returning to rule the world from Jerusalem. And are you ready for that? And as you can see here, this short got over 80,000 likes, so that resonated with a lot of people. Over 7,000 comments. There was actually some controversy there. Some people were like, "No, Jesus isn't Jewish. That's the way he was, but he's not coming back that way." It's like I don't really understand how you can say that if you've actually read the Bible, like especially the Hebrew Bible. But anyways, so that video, this short got a couple million views. So anyways, I love that. I love getting to talk about Yeshua. And I'm really thankful that this message is getting out and that it's getting a positive response from the broader Christian community, because like I said, we're all about that prophetic call, preparing the bride for the return of our Jewish bridegroom. And speaking of which, let's change gears now and talk about the next 3 months and what we see happening. So I already mentioned the Psalter. God willing, that will be fully published. And actually, I'll give you a sneak preview here. I have some author copies. That's kind of the test copies that the publisher sends just to you, so that you can have a look at them and just see if they work, if they're copacetic, so to speak. So this is the pocket size version. I recently showed this to someone and they're like, "Oh, pocket size, wow!" But it's relatively small. So, anyways, you can see. I don't know if you can tell that the color is actually a little bit different on some of these, and that's because we publish from two different platforms for different audiences, some different reasons. And so here are some. Maybe you can see it even more with these. Maybe you can see, especially. Let's see this one on the far on this side right here. You can see it's a little bit of a darker green, and then that's lighter green. This is more of a, what would you call that, like an olive green or something. So it's funny because it's the same PDF. It's the same color, but different. I don't know. For some reason they come with slightly different colors. So, anyways, that's those just arrived literally in the last couple days, and so I've been looking over those, and we'll be finalizing the final version, and then releasing them for sale and for order. And I am so excited about that, honestly. And more than anything, I can't wait to just sing from the Psalter with my own family. We have daily times of worship and study, and we've been singing a lot from the God of Abraham hymnal, and it's going to be just wonderful singing not only the hymns but also psalms. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so anyways, that's one of the big things that we can look forward to. I am doing a set of videos around the Psalter. I already mentioned, the history of the Psalter. I'm gonna look at some of these episodes in the Chosen, and also gonna do 5 or 6 videos going over the Hebrew words for the Psalms or about the Psalms. And there are some real secrets, some really rich insights there, and I can't wait to share those with you. Even just the Hebrew word for Psalms, Tehillim, what does that actually mean? How does it mean to shine? Or Mizmor, the Hebrew word for Psalm, how is that related to pruning? Or the choir director. How is that the same? How is that word the same word for the overcomer, the end times overcomers in the book of Revelation? There's so many rich insights, and so I'm prepping some videos about that. Those should be coming out, God willing, in the next season. And along with that, I showed you that short that went viral, talking about how Jesus was Jewish. So basically. At this point, my recreational project on the side has been to write the Israel platform, and this is something I woke up. The Holy Spirit woke me up early on a Shabbat morning, with this just burning in my spirit, and so I've been working on that. Just on Shabbats, just writing basically for the last couple months, I would say, and basically. It's based on, the Israel platform is based on 3 big ideas, key concepts. The first is that Jesus is Jewish. The second is that the Jews are God's chosen people. And the third is that Israel is Israel forever. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And this is something that all Bible believers should believe. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. And in fact, with the rise of anti-Semitism and even with this move on the right in America towards being less pro-Israel, this book is going to be a powerful way that you can stand with Israel and stand against anti-Semitism. Basically, it's going to have 12 statements, or we're going to call them planks of the platform, related to these 3 big ideas. Each one of them is going to be short, powerful, somewhat poetic even, the way it's phrased. Every single sentence is going to be documented with all the verses in the footnotes, and it'll be available as a little book that you can read, that you can hand out, and also the whole thing will also be on a website that you will be able to add your signature to. We're going to go for 1 million signatures for starters. And then it'll also be available as a video that you can watch, that you can like and share. So that's something that, God willing, will be coming out in the next 3 months, of the Israel platform. Pray for that. And along with that, after I'm done writing the Israel platform, I'm on the last 2 of the 12 planks right now. So after that's done, then my Shabbat project will return to the Siddur, researching and writing the putting together a prayer book, the way the prayers were done by the Jewish people in the time of Yeshua. And God willing, after that, we'll get back to the 713 commandments of the New Testament, the New Covenant. And so that may not come out in the next 3 months, but God willing, we'll get back to that. And most of it's already done, like I said. But when it actually comes time to publishing, that's a whole other ball game right there. All right, so and And then, God willing, after that, I want to get back to some of these courses that we have in process: Messianic Jewish History, Bible Reviews, and Mishnah Snapshots. Honestly, I really want to start a course teaching not just how to read the Psalms, but how to sing the Psalms in Hebrew to the traditional ancient Middle Eastern melodies. But I really want to finish some of these other things before I get started on that. So let me know in the comments, out of all the things that we have on the go right now, which are the most important to you? What would you like to see done first? What would be most useful to you? I would really love your feedback on that, and I do mean that. And I am open to constructive criticism also, if it's respectful, and like I said, if it's constructive. So do let me know. Let's move on to part 2 now, analytics and financials. All right, so we'll start with our books, with our publishing house. So as you can see here, if you go to holylanguage.com, go books, you'll see some of these different sections here: New Testament, worship, etc. And then also we have our best sellers. And you can see here our daily devotional. The gospel is phrased first person. There's a Hebrew names edition and an English names edition. This is something that I personally I pray from every morning. I put on my tallit, and I spend some time in prayer, and I read a little portion from Yeshua first person. It's broken up into 365 sections so that you can hear the Master speaking personally to you every day. So that's these are definitely some of our best sellers. The hymnal, and then the upcoming Psalter. And then also the Siddur is coming out. We're releasing that before it's even published as installments to our online student group, the Tribe, and then also Yeshua groups. And so basically, this is Ingram Spark. This is our primary platform, and you can see here it shows some of our best-selling books, gives some information about those. And then our secondary platform is called Lulu. And Lulu ships all over the world, not just to America or wholesale like Ingram does. And so eventually, God willing, we'll be publishing a lot of these secondary books over on Ingram Spark, but we haven't done it yet. But here's some of the orders that have come in. And for instance, we have the Delitzsch Hebrew Gospels that lists all the variants. Maybe a little bit nerdy, but oh my goodness, when I discovered that was available, my heart thrilled. The Midrash, you can see there, I highlighted a couple of things that you might find particularly interesting. The Authentic New Testament, that's history's first Messianic Jewish Bible translation from the 1950s. We're doing a review on that eventually, God willing. The Delitzsch Hebrew New Testament, Yeshua groups, already showed you that. All right, Mishnaic Hebrew Grammar, the Mishnah, Masoretic Bible, the Elias Hutter's Hebrew New Testament translation, that's from the late 1500s. It was the first one. The Peshitta Aramaic New Testament, the Greenfield Hebrew New Testament, very rare, early 1800s. Hadn't been published in like 150 years until we found it and republished it. So anyways, those are some examples of books that people have ordered from the publishing house in the last 3 months. Also want to go over a couple reviews with you. You can review any of our best sellers. Basically, just go to our bestsellers page at holylanguage.com, and each of our bestsellers has its own website, and there's a stories page there where you can share your story. Basically, like this, in the form of an Amazon book review. Book reviews go a long ways, not just towards telling people, hey, this is a good book, you should get it, you should read it and use it, but telling Amazon, hey, this is a good book, you should show it to more people. So if you believe that our books are some of the most Messiah-centered resources out there, if they've helped you to come closer to the Master, grow in your relationship with God and the Word and in worship, please do write reviews. And the cool thing is you don't even have to buy your book from Amazon to leave a review. So if you know what the book is about, you know it's a good book, and if you support what we're doing, I really do hope that you will write quick little 5-star reviews for our books. And I read every review, and I'm also going to be highlighting these reviews in our reports. And so here's one this is from one of our volunteers, Juliana. And so she's talking about Yeshua first person here, and just how much her son Levi loves it and reads from it every day. And so it's wonderful to hear from Juliana and the way her son Levi is spending time with Yeshua through this book. Some other reviews of Yeshua first person. It's wonderful. I love this version of the Gospels. One of my go-tos. So thanks Allie. Sharon says, excellent, love it. This might be from my mom. My mom's name is Sharon. If so, thanks, Ema. Thanks for your prayers and for being one of my biggest fans. I love you lots. My mom's up in Canada. It's really cold and snowy there right now. Anyways, okay, so pray for her. And then also we have some reviews of the hymnal. Sorry, I'm kind of in the way there. Excited to have this addition to my praise and worship of the Lord Jesus Christ. It'll be fruitful to my personal walk with the Lord. Ed says, sing praises. Amen, Ed. And Ed is a regular donor to Holy Language, and we appreciate you so much, Ed. And then also David, who's been a longtime member of Holy Language Institute and a dear brother, has some wonderful things to say, not just about the hymnal, but about the audio files, so that you can learn all of these and sing them for yourself and with your family and fellowship. I did want to also say, please pray for David and his family. It was just in the last... I think it was in the last week that he shared with us that one of their adult children passed away from cancer. His name was Judah. He was only in his 20s, and so the Sparkowiches are deeply grieving. And I can't even imagine just what a hard time that would be. And David took time to share that with us in our online student group, the tribe. And so we're mourning with him and feeling with him and his family, praying for him. And David, if you see this, we love you. And just thank you for being a part of our community. And thank you also for this review of the God of Abraham hymnal. All right, so I'd love to see your reviews. I would love to feature those in future episodes, future quarterly reports. All right, so let's look now at some YouTube video analytics. So here we have impressions. In the last 3 months, we made a lot of impressions, almost 1/3 of a million views. About 1/3 of 100,000 views, and then watch time. Now, this is really quite encouraging because, a view doesn't mean that somebody's watched for an hour or two. But what you can see here is that out of a little under 36,000 views, I'm just going to round these numbers out, we had about 8,500 watch hours. That's a lot. So that means the people who are watching are really watching. They're engaged, and they're really into our stuff. And we have views by geography. Kind of cool to see the main countries that people are coming from. If you're from one of these countries, here we have our top 5. And surprisingly enough, I wouldn't have guessed that Mexico and Japan were 2 of our top 5, but apparently they are. So anyways, we pray that God, that your kingdom would come and your will would be done in these countries and through the ministry of Holy Language Institute. Honestly, this is what most surprised me as I looked over these analytics, because I haven't even used some of these myself. Audience by age and gender, and I'm kind of in the way here, so I'm going to try to get out of the way here. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to show you the second half later. Okay, so the first half here is views. So you can see it's divided up by female and male. I think it's kind of stupid that they don't just have like male being blue and female being purple, which is kind of like a variation of pink. So whatever, I'm not going to go there. Okay, so anyways, but so interestingly enough, our males are significantly outnumber our females in terms of just people who are checking out our stuff. And then you can see here the age categories also. And if I love everybody, men, women, children, middle-aged, seniors. I want everyone to study with us and follow Yeshua with us for sure. But I do have to say that there was something about this that excited me. And what excited me is that there are so many young men between the ages of 25 and 45 who are watching our stuff. Because if you know statistics, then this is the hardest age group to reach. And these are the people that we're reaching. And this is important to me because these are, for the most part, these are probably guys who are married, who have wives, who have kids, and who probably work jobs, and so they're busy, but they're still making time to study the Bible, to invest in their spiritual lives and their discipleship, and no doubt that's going to trickle down to their over to their wives. It's going to trickle down to their kids, and that's something I'm especially passionate about is equipping young men to serve their families, lead their families in daily worship. And a lot of my videos are about that too, not just about Bible study, but for instance about the hymnal. It's about worship, about having a revival of worship. And so that really encouraged me. And then this also encouraged me. So this here is the second half, watch time. And so here, I'm going to once again get out of the way here. And so you can see here when it comes to watch time, so, we're people under 25, we're not getting them so much. So we're going to have to work on that. Maybe if you have kids, share these videos with your kids, send the link. Let's reach that youngest generation. All of my kids are 16 and under, so that's especially close to my heart at this point in my life. But again, what's remarkable is just the number of viewer hours coming from young men. So that's very encouraging. And surprisingly, between 25 and 35, we almost have no women watching. I don't know why, but like a lot of guys. And then this age bracket especially, tons of guys. What's interesting is as we kind of reach this older range here, then we see there are actually more. There are more grandmas watching than grandpas. So grandpas, you're going to have to get on board here. So anyways, interesting statistics. Like I said, I want everybody to study with us, but I do have to say that I'm really encouraged that we have so many younger men studying with us. If you're one of those guys, leave us a link in the comments. Tell us what you're watching. Tell us why you're watching, and I just really hope that you feel encouraged and that I hope that you feel seen and appreciated for who you are. All right, so let's move on to subscribers. We're so close to 40,000 subscribers. That's a lot of people. As you can see here, we're at 39.9. So, if you're already a subscriber, why not share this with your friends, family, fellowship, and let's double this number to 80,000 subscribers just for starters. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm a big fish in a little pond. I'm made for big stuff, and I felt that in my spirit since God called me when I was 16, and I feel like I've barely even gotten started yet. So I look at this and like to some people they're like, wow, almost 40,000. That's a lot of subscribers, but honestly for me, I'm like, I want to reach so many more people. We have one shot at this in these short lives that we have. I want 1 million subscribers just for starters. So pray for that with me, and also let's do what we can to get the word out about Holy Language Institute. Recommend us, share us. It really does make a difference. Word of mouth is still the best marketing and advertising there is, and that's up to you whether you want to do that or not. All right, so in the last 3 months, we had 136 new subscribers. Not as many as I'd want, honestly, but we're growing, and that's a good thing. Here are some of our new subscribers, the ones with the biggest number of subs. So, if you subscribe in our next report, maybe you'll show up on here. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, and I mentioned that we also recently opened up our YouTube channel to membership. So we've gained 8 members, so that's exciting. If you're one of our 8 supporters through YouTube, welcome and congratulations. And here's a little look at some of those members, actually. So if you're one of those people, just congratulations to you, giving you a shout out, and thank you so much for joining. All right, so let's move on now to our main video platform, holylanguage.tv, where our video courses are hosted. You can see some of those there, and here you can see, so it's hosted by Vimeo. It's Vimeo OTT. Technically, so that's why when you reach out, if you need like support with your account, etc., it's actually Vimeo OTT's staff that helps you with those things. We do have our own student care volunteers, but often our volunteers will just send you to the Vimeo support desk. So, anyways, as you can see, we have engagement from our members, our fully subscribed students. 127 viewer hours there, and this is a key figure. This is probably the most important figure to me. This is our actual subscribers at holylanguage.tv, a combination of our monthly and annual subscribers. And as you can see, we in the last 3 months we've had a very steady supporting. We have had people that have unsubscribed, of course, but then we've had roughly the same amount of people who have subscribed. I'm so thankful for that, because as you'll see when we get to our financials, we do need it. And it is so appreciated. So, right now we're sitting right around 174 members. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much for your membership. Thank you for not unsubscribing, and thank you for inviting other people to join you studying with Holy Language Institute. Along with that, we also have 41 supporters on PayPal. So you might know that in early 2025, we dropped our rates to all-time scholarship level lows, $9 a month or $90 a year, so that anybody and everybody can afford to study with us if they're really serious. And, having said that, we have had a really encouraging cut of people from, developing countries who otherwise wouldn't be able to study with us, sign up and study with us. Countries like Turkey, for instance, where they can't even reveal their information because it's illegal to study with Holy Language Institute. So, that has been so encouraging to me personally. And having said that, with lower rates, it also means that, we need more members, and it has been more of a struggle financially. It's like we're reaching more people, we have more students, but we're also not bringing in as much money. And so when we moved to our new platform, before this, our platform had PayPal payments, and so that's where this comes in. We have 41 people who have kept their PayPal payments over the years, and I want to say a special shout out to those people. and just thank you so much, because really we couldn't be doing this without you. You have been our mainstay. And it's not just people who have stayed on. Anybody who wants to donate above and beyond, $9 a month or $90 a year. They see what we're doing and they really want to get behind it, because they know that there's a real need there. That's some of those PayPal payments are those people also. And you can do that too. You can get on the donate page. The link is in the video description, and you can become not just a member through Holy Language TV, but you can become a donor and contribute more. On a monthly basis. We have a couple of members, a couple supporters at 20, quite a few at 20, and then some at even at $50 and $100. And we're so thankful for your support. Having said that, I do want to give some shout outs to our members on these different levels. So here we have I'm just going to start welcoming our new members during these reports. So I want to say a big welcome to some of our new students in the last 3 months. Cameron, Kimberly, Tawny, Sherry, Alexi, Keisha, Eric, Larry, Kelly, Jackie, Pasita, Shelly, Willie, Becky, Amy, and Alicia. Welcome to Holy Language Institute. Thanks for being some of our newest members. And I'm also going to start giving a shout out to our older members also, beginning from those who signed up at the very beginning of the new platform. And it would be too many names for just this report, but I'm going to start giving a shout out to a couple dozen every report. So I wanted to say a big shout out and thank you to Edgar, Rebecca, Anthony, Hallie, Fernanda, Jean, David, Sharon, Michelle, Fred, Yochanan, Vonnie, Ronald, Melissa, Bo, Joel, Julianne, Richard, Steve, Raymond, Jason, Eric, Edward, and Mike. So if you are any of those people, I just want you to know that I see you and I appreciate your support, and thank you for being some of those people that keep Holy Language Institute going. And same goes for our PayPal donors. I want to give a shout out to some of you, and over the next several quarterly reports, I'll be giving a shout out to all of you. But here I just wanted to say thank you so much to Donald, Richard, Cynthia, Kent, and his wife up in Canada, some of our longest standing members, Tarenda, Reggie, Amy, Sharon, Nicholas, Wanda, and Caleb. So if you're one of our PayPal supporters, just thank you so much. All right, so having said that, this is kind of cool too. These are the countries where our PayPal supporters are coming from: US, Canada, UK, Germany, and one in Belgium. So if that's you, congratulations, and once again, we see you. Let's wrap up these analytics, this specific part, looking at our analytics, just with some rough financials. You might be wondering, like, how much money do we have coming in? Anyways, where does that money come from? So I want to be very transparent with you, because we're a Canadian charity, which is the equivalent of it's like a Canadian 501c3 with Canadian maple syrup on it. Let's put it that way. And so, we do issue tax deductible receipts to Canadian donors, and we have also started another organization, the Musar Center. You might have heard of it before, and so the Musar Center is a 501c3, and so we are able to receipt our U.S. donors that way. And basically, the way I like to say it is that we have a shared financial base. So, there's a lot of interplay between Holy Language Institute and the Musar Center. And so, if you donate to the Musar Center, that does come to me and to the work that I'm doing, teaching through these different organizations. So basically, I want to say in the last 3 months, but technically it's the 3 months before last month. With accounting, it's a month behind, so to speak. So from our memberships and also a little bit of advertising from YouTube, we had an average of $1,170 come in. I'm rounding it to a $10 figure. We had a total of roughly $130 come in from book sales in the last 3 months. That's per month, and then also an average per month of $560 donations to Holy Language Institute, but that were received as personal gifts. And so if you sent in any of that, thank you so much. So basically, we had a total monthly income after expenses of $1,860. And so basically, that's what came to me as salary, and that's what I had to support my family of 5 kids. from. And so, I don't know how much money you make, how much you've made in the past. $1,860 during these times, especially with inflation and whatnot, is it's a pretty tight budget. So, firstly, thank you for your support. And, if you want to go above and beyond and even donate more, it is definitely welcome. And maybe I could even say needed. And if you love what we're doing, and you support our message, and you're not currently contributing financially, why not start? Why not start today? Why not start this month? We'd love to have you join as a paying member, or create a monthly donation. And as you can see from our financial figures, it will be put to good use and stewarded well. All right, so that's our analytics and financials. Do want to go roughly over our presence on social media also. As you can see from our social media page here, and there we are in the you can see where to find our social media page. This is actually something that we just added in the last couple months also to help you to find us on social media. With a disclaimer, this is not our main way of communicating. So definitely, if you want to get all of the news, you definitely want to sign up for texts or emails. Mostly what we share on social media is shorts, and then basically when I release a full-length video, I also create a short, and then I put it out on social media. So that's all you're going to get on social media, and maybe the occasional post with announcements or whatever. But having said that, maybe you would find it interesting to just see us on social media, see what our following looks like. All right, so firstly, this is our email list. As you can see, we have right around 8,000 people on our email list. We also have a text list. I love getting texts from like my favorite ministries and public figures. I even get texts from President Trump himself. Sure is special when I get a text from the president himself. But really, it is nice getting texts, because if you're anything like me, you get tons of emails and stuff can fall through the cracks. But texts don't fall through the cracks. So if you haven't signed up for texts, I would suggest that you do so. My rule when it comes to the way I write and send emails, texts, etc., is basically the golden rule. Like, is this an email that I would want to get? Is this a text that I would want to see on my phone? Is this something that would delight me, that I would really enjoy getting? And that's what I try to send. So if you haven't signed up for emails or texts, do so. It's basically just on the homepage at holylanguage.com, and the link to that is in the video description. So we have 169 people getting texts from us, and we have 4 people who signed up in this last quarter. Basically, the other channel that I've recently started sending through is Telegram. Telegram's a little bit annoying. You can't share pictures and then as much text as you want. If you put a picture in it, they're like, oh, you can only do 500 characters or something annoying like that. So then we have to put like a keep reading link to the same post on YouTube. But anyways, if you're into Telegram, basically the things that we send by email and text, we do also send by Telegram. So if you follow on Telegram, you won't miss anything. So here's our following on X, Twitter. We're as you can see on the bottom, we're almost at 25,000 followers on Twitter. After it was purchased by Elon Musk and became a free speech platform, we did really get our weight behind X, and we did start posting more regularly there. And so if you if you're on X, if you're not, I would encourage you to get on X and support free speech. We've done everything we could to move away from these platforms owned by Meta. I believe that Meta is a thoroughly evil entity and corporation, and I think it definitely showed its colors at the beginning of the pandemic with the censorship. Even in fact, our page itself was censored and shut down because we tried the Holy Language Institute Facebook page, because we tried to share a news article about a Nazi who converted to Judaism and married a Jewish girl and moved to Israel. And so you would think maybe that was just flagged by mistake, but we appealed it, and they kept our page shut down after it was manually reviewed. So at that point, I was like, this is stupid. So anyways, so we stay away from Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and we try to use some of these other free speech platforms. All right, so there's X. There's my professional account on X, which has almost 31,000 followers now. So as you can see, X is a great place to be. And here's me. I still do keep account on Facebook, and you're welcome to follow me there. But I'm also warning you, most of my posts will not show up in your feed because their algorithms are horrible, and they'll mostly show you stuff that somebody paid them to put in front of you, even if you didn't want to see it, if you didn't follow somebody. I used to have a personal Facebook account. I deleted it because I was just so frustrated. I had almost no control over my feed, and I was being, quote, fed stuff that just made me sick. So there's a disclaimer for you. We are also on iTunes. Feel free to follow there. As you can see, we have over 1,100 followers on iTunes. We are the number one Messianic podcast on iTunes. And I'll show you something a little bit later about that. That's kind of nifty. Okay, so we're on Pinterest also. We just recently started uploading our stuff to Pinterest. We have over 12,000 followers on Pinterest. So if you're into that, follow us there. I do also have an author page on Amazon, and you can follow me there. We have 292 followers so far, so that's kind of fun. And if you follow me there, it tells Amazon my stuff is good, and it'll also Amazon will tell you when we release new books, which is kind of nifty. Unfortunately, I am on TikTok, and I do post shorts there, so that's kind of new, and I try to stay away from TikTok as much as possible. But if you haven't managed to escape TikTok, if you still like to spend time in that cesspool, then do feel free to follow me there. Okay, so having said that, I had mentioned that we are on iTunes, showed you how many followers we have. So here's our actual podcast, and if you can see right here, we have 80 reviews, totaling 4.4 stars. So if you're on iTunes, if you wouldn't mind even just giving us a quick 5 stars, maybe even writing a quick 5-star review, once again, it really does go a long ways towards telling Apple this is good stuff, and people should follow. And over the next several reports, I'm also going to go over some of our reviews. And so Pam said thanks, and Pam is glad that we're attending to iPhone and iPad users. Sock2 said the presentation is excellent, and Yosef says Toda, I learned so much. So that's really nice. So anyways, if you leave a quick little review, I would love to feature your review in future quarterly reports. We are also on Marco Polo, the video app. I love this app. I use it on a daily basis to keep in touch with my friends and family, and also to keep in touch with our students. We have one of our 2 tribe groups is on Marco Polo. The other's on Signal. So we use Signal for written communication, Marco Polo for spoken video communication. And I love Marco Polo. You can send video messages to an individual or a group that they can watch, live or later. And you can also watch on double speed, which is nice, very efficient. So if you spend a lot of time driving, Marco Polo is a great way to keep in touch with friends and loved ones, and also to keep in touch with your tribe. And I share glimpses of personal life, family things, insights, etc., with our tribe on Marco Polo that I don't share anywhere else. So definitely follow my Sharecast, and then also join our tribe. It's the tribe, and there you can see it's going to be in this Connect section right there on the website. Join our tribe, and you can get those insights and personal moments from me that you are not going to get anywhere else. All right, and then finally, another experience of a community that we offer is volunteering. And Holy Language Institute is run by volunteers, and we check in with monthly reports on Signal or Marco Polo, and we pray for each other. We also have a group called the Watering Hole, where we just goof off and share silly things, and it's a wonderful. We have a wonderful camaraderie between our volunteers. So thankful for our volunteers, and I just wanted to also give a shout out to our active volunteers. And so right now our active volunteers are, I'm going to bring them up for you right now. Edgar, Eileen, Guthrie, Janice, Jim, Julianne, Kara, Melanie, Nathan, Rick, Vonnie, Walter, Zach, and Salami. So I'm so thankful for each of our volunteers. Love you guys, and what wonderful times we have. So if you really love what we're doing and you're interested in learning about how Holy Language Institute works behind the scenes, working personally with me, helping out. Basically, we'll give you you sign up, you get on board, and then we'll give you one job. And we call each job a ministry, and that's something that you do maybe on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. We have different groups with different ministries. So, anyways, we'd love to have you volunteer. And last thing I want to finish with is just going over our related ministries. So this is Yeshua Groups at yeshuagroups.com, basically a network of scripture storytelling groups. It's perfect not only for discipling your kids, but for reaching out to neighbors, and family members, friends, in non-religious settings, just at your house, maybe at the park, whatever. Tell stories, talk about them, eat together, kind of like an early church, really. And so I'd love to have you. I'd love to help you start a discipleship group through Yeshua groups. We also have the Messianic School of Discipleship, an in-person ministry training yeshiva right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you want to have more of a mentoring relationship with me, I have made that available, and you can learn more at messianic.school. And we also have the Musar Center, which is a Jewish path rooted in the Bible of inner work, character development. And basically, the links for all of those things are on my professional website, izzyavraham.com. I'll put the link to that in the video description. So if you go to izzyavraham.com, on the left, you can read my testimony, and you can read the backstories to a lot of these organizations, courses, etc. And you'll also get links not only to Holy Language Institute, but to the Musar Center, to Yeshua groups, and to our Messianic School. All right, so that, my friend, was our very first quarterly report, looking back on the fall season, looking ahead to the winter season. Like I mentioned, I'm going to put the links to all these things in the video description, so be sure to use the video description to check out some of these things for yourself. I kind of gave you some little action points and assignments there. Hopefully it'll take some time to do that stuff. Like I said, also, I am leaving the comments open. I'd love to hear from you, not only with the questions that I put out there, but just if you have any questions about Holy Language Institute, about what we offer. Would love to hear from you. And like I said, also, if you have creative ideas, feedback, etc., love to hear that. I think, and again, keep it respectful. If it's ugly or disrespectful, we will just block you. And that'd be a bummer, because then you can't watch any of our videos anymore. Yeah. So having said that, I think the biggest question that I have for all of you is, what do you think of this background? Usually I just use a clean white background because I want to focus on the texts that we're studying, etc. And also I kind of laugh sometimes at people who use books as their background, because it's like, oh, look how smart I am. I have all these books behind me. It doesn't mean I read any of them, but I have a lot of books behind me. Okay, I'm kind of saying that in a humorous way. It does look nice. I love books. I am a books person. Sometimes if somebody is doing a video with books behind them, I'll just be like sitting there trying to like see what their books are. Or if I go to somebody's house and they have bookshelves, it's terrible. Because like I want to visit with the person, but I also just want to go and look at their books. So I feel some serious tension there. Even on little personal story, even on the drive back from visiting my wife's family for Thanksgiving in the San Diego area, I stopped to see my good friend Dr. Al Garza, who's one of the leading Hebrew New Testament scholars. He has an incredible collection of books, and so I had to juggle a couple of hours of talking with him and just looking at his books. Thankfully, he's a book nerd too, so we spent most of our time together looking at his books, and it was a wonderful time. So anyways, you'll have to tell me what you think of this book background for these reports. And then also, you'll have to tell me what you think of this cardigan look. It's not something I generally wear, but I thought it would be kind of fun, maybe a little more like comfortable and just personable in this conversation, so to speak, as I just kind of tell you what we've been up to for the last 3 months, tell you what we have, what we're looking forward to, give you some, behind the scenes looks at our analytics, our financials, a lot of stuff like that. It's kind of ironic. I just got this cardigan like on our Thanksgiving trip, and my daughter just sent me a YouTube short shortly before I started this report with like ways to know that you're an adult. And I think number 4 was like, you get an old man cardigan. So my daughter calls this my old man cardigan. So yeah, you'll have to tell me what you think of the book's background and what you think of my old man cardigan, because that's the most important thing, and that's what I really need to know. And that's the real reason I'm opening up the comments. Okay, just kidding. I did mention especially our member David Sparkowicz and his family, and how they lost their son Judah to cancer, who was only in his 20s. Pray for him, and likewise for yourself. If you have a prayer request, share it in the comments. And if you want to take a second to read over the prayer requests in the comments, and maybe even write a prayer in response, I would love to see that. We want to open it up, share your stories, share your prayer requests, share your honest thoughts and feedback and questions. And be sure to sign up for texts and emails at holylanguage.com so you don't miss anything. Be sure also to, if you're not already a member, become a member, or maybe even create a monthly donation. The links to all of those things are in the video description. All right, thanks for joining me for our very first quarterly report from Holy Language Institute, and I can't wait to to share with you some of the exciting things that we have coming out in the next 3 months. And I guess I'll see you in the spring, in early March.